This news update is brought to you by...
Say hello to Shanta. Shanta is an entertainer, but she also loves to be entertained, which is why she has Flow TV brought to her through Flow's 100% fiber to the home network. It's great for busy Shanta because she can control the time she watches her favorite shows, play back from the start in case she missed it, or even record with cloud video recording. And with her Flow services bundle, enjoys much more for much less. Visit any Flow retail outlet, call 1-800-804-2994, or visit discoverflow.co to find out more. One-of-a-kind connection. This is how we flow.
Welcome to the Barbados Today Evening Update. It's Tuesday, September 6th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Police spokesman, Acting Station Sergeant Roland Cobbler, says reports of a murder occurring in Vauxhall, Christchurch are untrue. His comments come as a picture of an alleged murder victim makes the rounds on social media. The pictures and rumors have reportedly caused much concern across the island, especially in the face of the recent spate in gun violence. But Sergeant Cobbler tells Barbados Today the incident did not occur in Barbados. In other news, this Tuesday, Labour Minister Dr. Esther Barbados is hoping that an amicable settlement can be reached between public sector unions and the Ministry of Civil Service. Unions have been demanding pay increases for their members following a decision by the government to restore a 10% pay cut imposed on parliamentarians and other senior public servants back in 2014. The National Union of Public Workers is demanding a 23% salary increase, while the Barbados Workers Union wants 15%. However, Dr. Bayasugu says her ministry will not intervene unless negotiations reach their dispute stage.
Thankfully, at this point, my ministry is not involved because this is a negotiation between the unions and the Ministry of the Civil Service. The Ministry of Labour, as with all others, we don't get involved, even in the private sector, we don't get involved in wage negotiations until there's a dispute. The public hears about the ones that are disputed, but dozens, even scores of wage negotiations happen very quietly at local level and never even reach my office. I hope that this is what can happen in the civil service, that at the table the two parties can come to some agreement, but my ministry is not involved in this matter.
Meantime, the National Union of Public Workers will be meeting with all officers of the Customs and Excise Department on Thursday and not tomorrow as previously stated. The meeting will be held at 10 a.m. at Union Headquarters. NUPW Acting Assistant General Secretary Wayne Waldron spoke to Barbados Today earlier.
The meeting will seek to update workers on the progress made on all matters relating to terms and conditions of service. There's also the outstanding issue of appointments. All the vacancies have not been filled, so we need to discuss that issue. There's still a number of matters to be addressed in terms of the qualifications and the job descriptions for customs. There are concerns about how they are worded, and we need to address that. We also need to have information on the organizational structure and a number of other matters. These are issues that the officers are insisting that it should be made available to them in order that they can make any informed decision on the way forward. So on Thursday, we will be providing that update, and we will determine the way forward after that meeting in terms of Customs and Excise Department.
The meeting comes on the heels of last week's announcement by the Ministry of Civil Service that the Customs and Excise Department will make the transition to the Barbados Revenue Authority on October 1. However, the NUPW officials maintain that negotiations are still ongoing and warned workers against signing any option forms.
Well, even in the event where persons have signed, it does not take away from the fact that collectively that we will make representation to ensure that all those issues would have been addressed in terms of matters that need to bring closure to. We must bring closure to all these matters so that workers don't feel a sense of being pushed in a situation where they are not quite ready to perform under a new entity. So all of those matters must be cleared, because you got to appreciate you're moving from the public service into a new entity, and therefore you want all matters to be addressed, to feel comfortable at least to make that decision if you're going to transition or not transition.
Meantime, the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union has summoned its teachers to a meeting tomorrow. According to a statement from Union President Mary Redman, the talks, which are set for 1 p.m. at Solidarity House, will discuss some of the ongoing and persistent problems facing teachers. Among them, appointments, violence in schools, the docking of teachers' pay, for attending union meetings, safety and health issues, as well as other matters. Redmond claims that these issues are not getting the level of attention and importance that they deserve from the Ministry of Education, and that the BSTU will have to do what is necessary to change that approach. In sports, sporting icons from Barbados will be honored on September 10th at an event dubbed An Evening with the Stars. Sports Minister Stephen Lashley says the black tie event, which will be held at the Hilton Hotel, is part of the island's 50th independence anniversary celebrations. He says a number of athletes in various disciplines will be honored under the patronage of Sir Garfield Sobers. One of the highlights of the evening, the minister says, will be the launch of the Barbados Sports Person Trust Fund.
And the purpose of that fund will be varied, but in particular, we are very focused on using the proceeds of that fund to provide assistance to sports persons who would have retired. I believe that has been a very topical talking point for many years, where several of our distinguished sporting icons would have retired from active participation in sports, but nothing has been done to provide for them in retirement. This is a start. We're not saying that, of course, this is all that can and will be done for our distinguished sporting icons, but we feel very, very, very strong that we have to start the ball going in making provision by means of a trust fund that, of course, all Barbadians can contribute to provide some kind of support to our outstanding sporting icon.
In more sporting news, Australia sets a new record score in 2020 international cricket. The Aussies hit 263 for 3 against Sri Lanka in Paul Kelly, knocking out the total of 260 set by Sri Lanka against Kenya in 2007. All-rounder Glenn Maxwell hit 145 not out from just 65 balls. Sri Lanka, who had won the toss and elected to bowl first, could only muster 178 for 9 in reply, as Australia won the first game of the 2-match series by 85 runs.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Read all about it, read all about it. Get your paper, only $2.25. Let's get your paper.
You again with that stale news from yesterday. I got the Barbados today on my phone, and I just get my news for free.
What do she?
Barbados Today. News you can trust.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
To the region now, police in West Kingston, Jamaica, are urging parents to send their children to school. This after reports of low turnout in attendance at the start of the new school year, and they are attributing it to a fresh outbreak of violence in the community. The below-par attendance comes on the heels of Sunday's drive-by shooting, which resulted in 4 people, including a 5-year-old girl, being injured. Reports say the child remains in critical but stable condition. And finally, the World Health Organization is urging persons returning from Zika-affected regions to practice safe sex for at least 6 months to avoid the risk of spreading the disease. It says the advice applies even if a person has no Zika symptoms. The appeal comes a few weeks after doctors discovered the virus in the sperm of an Italian man 6 months after his first 6 months, that is, after he first had Zika symptoms. Previously, the WHO said men without symptoms only needed to use condoms or abstain from sex for 8 weeks as a precautionary measure. According to the organization, 11 countries have reported cases of sexually transmitted Zika. And on that note, we come to the end of our news and sports update. But for the very latest, visit our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. Subscribe to our e-paper, email update, and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 99 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Frenella Wedderburn. Good evening.